And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at yet another Funkoverse set, and that is Space Jam: A New Legacy. Now, I'm recording this review before the movie's out, and before I've seen the movie, so I don't have any real comments on the new Space Jam. I really liked the 90s film a lot. Bad actors aside, I'm a big Looney Tunes fan, so I'm glad to see this one come out. I don't know. LeBron James definitely was certainly a persona very popular down here in Miami when he was down here, but I'm not a huge NBA fan, so the basketball part of it doesn't mean as much to me, but Bugs Bunny does. So this is a two-player pack that you could play by itself, but if you're playing Funkoverse, you're playing with two characters per side or what have you. So this is an expansion that works with everything else, whether it's Harry Potter or DC or Golden Girls or Jurassic Park, yada yada. So we're just going to take a look at what's inside this box. This is not a review of Funkoverse in general. You can check out my main review for that. But here we're just talking about what's in this set. Let's get started. Okay, let's take a look here first at the two characters. So we have LeBron James and Bugs Bunny. Now, I'm gotta say, this doesn't feel like Bugs Bunny to me. It's kind of an uncanny valley. I mean, I know it's a Funkoverse version. I don't know. All right, we'll talk about LeBron James first. So all the stuff is basketball related. Surprise! You can put him adjacent to a rival, do a challenge 2. A jumper, a step away jumper, where you move back 1 and do an action. Do a challenge 3 and move 2. That's pretty good. And he can move through rivals as though they were allies. Very useful special ability. But what's most noticeable about him is that all his stuff's blue. He gives you 2 blue. There's very few characters that are based on 1 color. So that's kind of interesting to me, and you want to make sure you team him up with someone else who's blue. All right, so Bugs Bunny, when he's standing after rival within 4 squares as a challenge and loses, you can basically spend a blue ability to move Bugs Bunny adjacent to that rival. Essentially, this is another special ability. He has 4, if you think about it. This is not a thing. It's a thing that you can do. It's useful. Here you can move 1, pick someone who's exhausted, and your opponent gives their exhausted marker to one of their unexhausted characters. That's kind of an interesting one, and that's pretty cheap. Choose a rival, move them 2 spaces, and then Rascally Rabbit, my favorite here, where you can challenge 3, and if you win, you can shift a token or marker on any cooldown track up 1 or down 2. That's really handy. I like Bugs Bunny better than LeBron James. I understand the usefulness of LeBron James here, being able to move through people, but Bugs Bunny's Rascally Rabbit just feels unique and different, and that combined with Ain't I a Stinker, I like those two. Now, I don't think either of these 2 characters are going to make my top 10 characters, but what about the item? That's right, the item here is a basketball, which for some reason is silver. Maybe it's silver in the movie, I don't know. So the basketball says when this character rolls an exclamation point, shift 1 thing on its cooldown track down by 1. That's an item. Card, that sounds like it's a token. And when this character becomes exhausted, you can give the basketball to an ally within 3 squares that they can see. So if you play it right, everybody could use this on your team, just bouncing the basketball around. This, I don't know if it's my favorite item in the game, but it's definitely up there. That's just a really neat thing. So there's 2 sides to the board here, and you have this scenario here. We have a leader scenario, and we also have a basketball scenario that can be played here. Now, the basketball scenario comes with a bunch of power-up cards. We have block and stamina and pass, and essentially you can play a basketball game. That's okay. I know it's super thematic and it's not a terrible version of a scenario to play, but it's not why I play Funkoverse, to play a basketball game. Although there is some funny, things to see Batman maybe with the basketball passing to Malfoy, passing back to, I don't know, one of the Golden Girls. So there's the humor in that, but I don't normally play on the small sides of the boards anyway. So the large side of the board, which I love because it's Looney Tunes. This is just a great board. Has that really cartoony look to it. So this is the side of the board I prefer. Other than that, the components, purple gems. Of course, purple gems are some of the coolest. A bunch of tokens. You got your third person, the Goon Squad and the Toon Squad. Scenario cards. There's those cards. So, yeah, I mean, there's the same stuff that's in all of them. Good components. As with most Funkoverse sets, of course I'd like this. This is not one of my favorites where I'm going to run out and get this one first. They're both good characters where I would put, again, LeBron James. If you have other characters that are blue, you can make a pretty strong team in that direction. And Bugs Bunny just has cool special abilities, so I like him. But man, the basketball, it's almost worth getting for that basketball. That's just fun. And it's fun to take these two out of the situation and think, what teams would be fun? Having a whole Harry Potter team with the basketball, to see Voldemort just use the basketball and then pass it along to the Kool-Aid Man. I don't know. Funkoverse is getting stranger and weirder all the time, and I'm on board for it. I still like the game a lot, and so while this is not an expansion that kind of blew me away, I really like the basketball, and I think the characters are pretty good. The basketball scenario is humorous, so maybe that's something that might attract you to this also. But either way, that's what's in this set. I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. Dice Tower Judgment approved!